Hey everyone, welcome to Core Talks. This is Denise Posnak Gaffney. I am Denise Posnak Gaffney, and we are here live today with Jen Morris, who comes to us from Denver. She was a New York City girl, but moved her family to Denver recently, which is awesome. So is it cold there, Jen?
It was cold yesterday. It was winter again yesterday, but today it's warming up and beautiful. I think it's supposed to be almost 70, hopefully.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. Mountain air. So today we are talking about gut health. Spring, as you know, in my Core Talks has been focused on spring cleaning, waking up, learning new things about our bodies, making shifts, making changes. To me, spring is a new year. It's like January 1, and I love the invitation we have from nature, from life, from the cycles of the seasons to start something new. So last Core Talk, I talked about spring cleaning your fitness routine. If you missed that, please go back and watch it. There's 10 tips on there about how you can do that. And today we're going to talk about how to spring clean your diet so that your gut healthier. And I'm so excited because Jen and I, we know each other from a ways back, and I'm going to let her talk in a minute. We have connected together. We've done group calls together. We've married the physical workout piece, which is my area, and the diet piece, which is her area, to help women really deal with managing life through these two ways. And we both come from a performance background, which is awesome. We're both former and current performers, I guess, of Jen. And we both are moms of kids that are around, well, they're about a year apart, new moms. Yep. We have, I just love Jen. I'm so
lives
with her here. And just a little brief note about what she does and who she is. So she is a certified health coach. She has been working with clients over the years, specializing in the root of the health problem. And her work has really focused her on gut health, which she attributes to dealing with problems like anxiety, brain fog, cravings, weight loss, immunity, and more. So it's a really holistic way of looking at diet. And she is here with us to let's hear a little bit more. I'll let her talk about herself a little bit. And Jen, tell us your story, who you are, and what brought you to your interest in gut health.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Denise. I love, this is, I feel like one of the best parts of technology, the fact that you can keep in touch with people even if you move, and then you can, come back together and talk about things you're passionate about on social media. So thanks for having me. You're somebody who I just so admire, and it's really fun to kind of be living this parallel life to you with motherhood and wellness, entrepreneurship, and everything. So yeah, as you mentioned, my background is actually acting, and kind of going down that starving artist path and being a burned out actor is really what led me to nutrition over a decade ago, because I was not prioritizing my health when I was an actor. And just like an athlete, actors really are athletes, and your body's your instrument. And if you get injured or sick, you can't do your job. And so that kind of finally clicked for me, in my mid-20s, and really started kind of using myself as my own experiment, and started reading a lot, and really turned things around for myself, and realized that I really enjoyed sharing that with other people and trying to really simplify nutrition, because I think we've, advertising agencies and pharmaceutical companies and various, experts in the field, which I don't proclaim to be, but, have really done a good job of making nutrition so overwhelming. I'm sure you can relate, Denise, too, when it comes to fitness. So, I lost weight. I started to exercise regularly. A lot of chronic symptoms went away. I wasn't needing antibiotics anymore. I was injury-free. And so I actually went back to school then and became a certified health coach many moons ago. And, I spent a long time coaching hundreds of clients privately and through group programs. And while I was outwardly healthy, I was eating clean and exercising and doing all sorts of things like that, I was actually struggling really silently with anxiety and poor self-image, and I had a really hard time focusing, and it was really kind of getting in my way. And there was actually a point in time where I would think about maybe I need to take like a prescription, so I can focus better and, be more productive, because I'm an entrepreneur and I was juggling a ton of different things, and it was in my way. And, I'll be honest too, that I definitely found that, because I was just busy and had a lot going on, I definitely found myself kind of turning to that glass of red wine or 2 or 3 every single night, a little more than necessary, as a way to just unwind and socialize and really recover, from long days. At the same time, I really try to keep up with the latest science, and, gut health has just been everywhere. If you Google gut health or gut brain connection, it's amazing what pops up. And so this is stuff I've been reading about and following for a long time. And I started to notice that trends in conversations that I was having with a lot of my clients, was everyone was struggling with a bunch of different things, such as stress, anxiety, fatigue, chronic pain, inflammation, digestive disorders, brain fog, depression, stubborn weight loss, constipation, IBS, ADD, ADHD, skin issues, headaches, autoimmune conditions. Thyroid is just huge now. And so, I was like, gosh, and I felt like I could get people to a certain point, but there was still something that was missing. And what was starting to really kind of piss me off, quite frankly, was the fact that these symptoms have become super normalized in our society. And I think a lot of us just get resigned to feeling kind of crappy and just dealing with it. So flash forward then, I got pregnant, 2 years ago. I had a little girl just over a year ago. And, I had a really good pregnancy, actually, for the most part, and a good delivery. But, being a new parent, Denise, as you can relate to, is a total life change. And all of a sudden, some of these issues with the brain fog and kind of keeping my thoughts organized and focusing got even more challenging. And to be honest, I felt like personally, I was having a bit of an out-of-body experience. So that's when I really started to dig and look more deeply at gut health and get beyond digestion and bloating, when it comes to gut health. And I started to read a lot more about the latest research that, directly connects our gut and our brain, and this sort of what they call the axis in between. And at that point, this light bulb just went off, in my head. And I realized, I've always known as a health coach that I started to feel like 90% of the battle when it comes to making healthy choices or committing to the exercise, is psychological, right? You have to make the decision and you have to, do it and hold yourself accountable and motivate yourself to do it. And so I've always dealt with that. But I think that for so long, we as a society have really separated the two. Like, there's psychological and there's physical, and they're not connected. And what they're showing now is it's actually totally, the opposite. It's very much connected. So, of course, gut health is critical for things like weight loss and lowering inflammation and improving digestion and the kind of the things we think of more as physical. But there's this mental piece too that I just saw as if we can heal the gut, we can really correct a lot of the physical things, but we can also improve our mental wellness. And how amazing is that when the two work harmoniously? What if we could clean up our gut and heal it, and by doing so, stop our sugar cravings? What kind of benefit would that have for us, both mentally, and physically? So that was really what kind of, caused me to really shift a lot of what I was doing and start to focus more on this, gut health and the gut-brain connection, because I just find it fascinating. And I've seen how making the changes for myself have totally solved a lot of things for me. So it's been really awesome.
No, it's amazing. I love all of that. I want to note a couple of things. One, that it's interesting what we have this standard of what is healthy, and for a lot of us, it's how we look, right? It's an external standard. Sure. We've got, so let's say we are skinny, we're fine in our weight or whatever. So then we're like, we're fine, we're healthy. And I will say personally, I can talk about that being part of my current story where, yes, I'm fine with my body, where I'm in, fine shape, but I will say that the mood, when I'm not eating in a way that supports my gut, my mood and my ability to concentrate, my ability to be productive is the thing that starts to disappear. And no matter, if I'm skinny, if I can't think and I can't be present for my daughter, I have, no energy, I'm exhausted, I'm anxious, I'm all of those things. Even that level of health where, okay, you don't have extra weight on you, you don't feel tired because of that, you've got this other thing going on. And I know that it's just a nice little wake up call, even for those of us who think we're healthy, right? So it's so great. And so I want to get into just your top three, because I also want to note this. So one thing you said, you talk about the overwhelm of like what we should do as a diet, right? And you bring it like the latest trend, which is if you go online, you hear everything about gut health. I will say right now, that makes me pull back and go, like, is this that trend that everyone's going to think, oh, you can't have fat in your diet, that's what's going to make you healthy, and now it's gut health. I feel like, A, I have that, we all have that, but B, we are further in our research. I think we're growing and learning more, obviously. And we are at a place of, we are understanding things better. I would also like to just note that for me, the microbiome does feel like an overwhelm, and things you hear like probiotics. I hear there's so many different strands of probiotics. How do you know you're getting the right one? So I think I love in some ways that you have simplified it and it's about gut health. And that's what we concern ourselves about. And then the rest falls into place. And also there is some overwhelm. So I would love for you to answer, we're going to keep it simple. I want 3 things from you, because as we know in our lives, you can't take in all this information and be able to act, because it's you need 3 actionable ways to, I'm saying 3, we might even need 1, actionable ways for us to help our gut. So why don't you give us 3 ways?
Sure.
Yes, let's hear from you.
Awesome. Yeah. So first of all, I am a big proponent of starting with food. And so, you want to start by adding in the 3 Ps. And I'm going to give you some ideas of like some of these foods, and then you pick one and you just increase it, right? So when I say 3 Ps, I mean probiotics, prebiotics, and phytobiotics. Okay. So what are those? Because I think sometimes too, we hear, oh, probiotics. Yeah, that's good for us. We actually don't even know what they are. So probiotic foods contain the live good bacteria, which actually aid in digestion. Okay. So examples could be fermented foods, kefir, kimchi, if you like kind of spicy food, that's a good one. Sauerkraut, miso, tempeh, yogurt. You want to check labels on yogurt and make sure it's not, yogurt with like 80 grams of sugar, because oftentimes some of them can be. And then certain probiotic supplements are good things. So pick one of those things. Maybe you're like, you know what? Yeah, I don't do kefir. I don't eat sauerkraut. And that's an easy thing I could just layer in, to what I'm already doing, right? Prebiotics contain the fibers and carbs that can then be fermented and digested by gut bacteria. So they actually serve as a fuel source, and they encourage the growth of beneficial bacteria. So this one's really easy. Asparagus is actually a great form of prebiotics. Bananas, green leafy veggies, garlic, which I love. Garlic has so many good properties beyond prebiotics. It's really a superfood. So, just cook with more garlic. That can be a great thing. Onions, if you like onion. Artichokes. I love me artichokes. So, artichokes can be good. Ginger. So again, if you're somebody who's already doing a smoothie in the morning, maybe you add in some more green leafy vegetables and you add in some ginger, and that can be a great way to kind of just power up something you're already doing, and, add some more prebiotics, and of course then supplements too. And then phytobiotics are actually rich in flavonoids, which then protect the good bacteria and actually establish more of like a hospitable, environment for the growth of the good, and then getting rid of the bad bacteria. So this is my favorite one because it's all things I love: apples, grapes, dark chocolate, and berries. So again, see, you can have phytobiotics for dessert. Have some good dark chocolate, have some berries, and you can, get some good phytobiotics. So those are the 3 Ps there. And then the second thing you want to do is you want to start to reduce some of what I call the gut killers. And so some of these are things you're probably like, yes, I know. But number 1, of course, is sugar, right? Now, I am not someone who inherently believes all sugar is bad. Berries have sugar, apples have sugar, So it's really more about the type and the amount of sugar. When I say sugar, it does directly feed bad bacteria in the gut, and can really cause an inflammatory response. And it's really addicting too. So, if you're someone who definitely trends to be more of someone who craves sugar, this is something you want to start to crowd out. But some is okay. And actually, sometimes certain sugar can actually help with hydration, which is why energy drinks often have sugar in them. But there are some energy drinks, and kombucha and things like that have a ton of sugar, and then there's some that have less. So you want to read labels, you want to learn how to do that. But one of the things I like to do is, to buy a nut yogurt. So I don't do a ton of dairy, but because I just don't respond too well to it. So I like to buy unflavored nut yogurt. There's a ton of different types out there now. And then I'll just add in my own fruit to it. And so then I'm not, having a ton of 18 tablespoons of, sugar in it. I'm adding, a few fresh berries, maybe some walnuts, and that can be a breakfast or an easy snack or something that you have a little more control over. Instead of buying something that's packaged with a ton of extra sugar. Artificial sweeteners are, of course, I think one of the number one things that, even before sugar, like real sugar, get rid of the artificial sweeteners. It's not a better replacement. It completely feeds bad bacteria, feeds inflammation, kills your immune system. So that's a big one. And then the last example would be factory meat and farmed fish. So I'm not going to take the stance of vegetarian versus paleo versus, vegan. I do think some of that is a personal choice for people and their own health and what they thrive on. However, factory meat and farm fish are going to have higher levels of antibiotics, which, completely defeat the purpose. And then lastly, the third thing I would say is you want to do a gut microbiome balancing program. So you may think of like a cleanse or something. However, there are certain cleanses that are really popular that are not going to do anything when it comes to the actual microbiome. It might flatten your stomach a little bit, you might poop a little bit more, but it's not necessarily going to address your microbiome. So there are some great programs. I have one, of course, myself that I work with and offer. And then you want to implement strain-specific probiotic supplements into your lifestyle. And, that is the big thing that I think a lot of people don't know is that, there are about 300 to 1,000 good bacterial species in the gut, but there are millions of strains for each species that compromises billions of bacteria over on. And so if you're at a store and you're looking at a probiotic, oftentimes it'll just say the genus and the species, but it won't say the strain. And the strain is what really can trigger good things, in us. So there are specific strains of probiotics that actually will increase serotonin in our gut, which is all the feel-good, neurotransmitters and everything. So a company I work with is called Amari, and that's really what they focus on exclusively. They're doing awesome things in the field and advancement of this real strain-specific gut health and gut-mind, gut-brain connection research. And, so if you're looking for, companies that are, make sure you're doing your research. Don't just assume if you walk into a store and you pick something up of a shelf that says, contains 80 million strains, 80 million, things of probiotics. It doesn't necessarily mean much. So you want to do your research and work with somebody. And that is it. Start small. Start with one of those things, right? Maybe just go cook asparagus for dinner tonight, go to your farmer's market and buy some artichokes, whatever's in season right now. If you know that sugar is addicting to you, then don't bring it into the house. And maybe ask people not to. Ask your partner, hey, don't bring home cookies, please. Don't, bring home candy. Find someone you can be accountable to. And whether that's a coach or a friend or, a coworker, if the candy dish at work is like constantly in your way, maybe like have an agreement with the coworker to keep each other in check about that. And also get out of your comfort zone. We have to be willing to try new things to have new experiences, right? So if you're like, ooh, sauerkraut, I didn't like that as a kid, so I'm not going to try it now. You know what? You might surprise yourself. I did not like sauerkraut as a child, and I love it now because our taste buds change. And the more we eat something, the more our body craves it. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. For the sake of time, since we have to wrap up here in 40 seconds, I just want to say that I want to emphasize what Jen has said about working with someone, because as I'm listening to her, the one thought I have is like, reach out to Jen. She has the information. This is where she's researching. If you want to know about the body, reach out to me about physical stuff.
Yes.
Having a coach is key. So she has an amazing document she can send you. Just you can Facebook message her.
Send me a Facebook message
with all of these ideas for foods and diets. And I am so happy that you were here, Jen. And I'm just so grateful for this. Everybody has any questions, email us and we will get information out to you. And check out her, which is amazing. Do the cleanse. I want to do it now. And have an awesome day. We're going to wrap up here and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.